Uh-oh. My friend George Wallace here is going to be our feature tonight. I met him in 2019 at the Beat Poetry Festival in Connecticut, and I can't wait to have him up here, so I'm going to get off stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
We'll get George up here in about 5 more people, and then we'll continue with, hopefully there'll be Zoom people, and then finish with the rest of us. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Another. I've been so blessed to be in San Diego. A lot of great people here. Roger Applon used to teach at the writing center, and I did his beat poetry class, and I really gained. I became, I don't know, I became more open to people and less fear, and it's all because of Roger Applon.
Right.
There you go.
Afternoon. Nice to hear Chris do what he does so well, and Michael, of course, standing in for Jim. This is a piece that I wrote several years ago, but it's been re-anthologized recently, and it seems to speak to today, unfortunately, as it did back in 2019. It's called Desert Lullaby, and it was written after the war in Syria started, and there were refugee camps springing up. That's why I say it's just as pertinent today as it was then. Yes, tonight, a camp initiated for the safety and health of the disoriented, displaced, and dislodged lies silent. Only fragments of bodies that once filled its squalid tents remain. And yes, as reported, a bomb from a lone Russian jet dissolved all hope of life with a whimper and a bang. And so, yes, we announce and plead, we're so sick of war. And the thugs who bank their vigorish, their juice from loans they make to allay the risk of peace and the loss of planes that mysteriously explode, or tanks that rocket to incendiary mush, or a bomb that eludes its target, or a battalion overrun and slaughtered. Yes, our small voices ring hollow in the desert, yes. In the mountains, yes. In these city streets, yes. In the fat council halls and dusty huts where generals plan the next and the next and the next. Yes, and yes, and yes. We implore once more our hollow cry. We are so sick of war.
Okay.
Yeah. I almost, my bum knee almost got, but I saved it. All right. Next. Oh, she's all up and all ready. Chris Ernest Nelson, I first met at the downtown library, the new one at the Dome, about 5-6 years ago. Wow. And it's been a great ride ever since.
BC.
So, yeah, I want to introduce everybody, Chris Ernest Nelson.
All right.
Well, I may not be able to figure this out, but I'll manage. I will stoop
Oh, you can lift it up a little bit here.
the microphone. Chris, thank you.
Chris is going to do it.
Too many knobs down there for me. It's kind of
I
like
know.
sex.
Oh, oh snap.
I used to tell my high school students, it is a shame God didn't make sex so complicated, so difficult to accomplish that only the most dedicated people could accomplish it. None of this amateur stuff we see going on. Jim Moreno, I'd like to introduce you to the healing angel who has done such wonderful things for me. Get well. I'm going to follow up with another anti-war poem here. Never again. We heard the people say, never again. And we rejoiced that we had learned to hate war and to love peace, that we had learned to hate injustice and love one another. Yet again, with our hands, we made the hideous crimes come true. While in comfort we pretend at innocence, while we, with our own hands, smash cities and homes and lives. Yet again and again, we create a wasteland peopled with bloody and broken dreams, and survivors not so fortunate as the dead who have found peace and justice at last. Wow. Thank you. And I'll close with To Know You. This gets very little mic time, so I'll work it. To know you. You are a star born in the corner of my eye. You are the dreams that guide me on my transcendental journey home. You are my breathing, like slow waves that rise from the depths of a resonant soul to break upon a willing shore. You are the faithful forests of my highlands, the rolling grasses of my searching prairies, and my blossoms of spring. I see you are beautiful and forever young. I see your falling hair dances with sunlight. I see your face shines like a full moon rising. I see you sway to rhythms of remembering. I see your smile teases my smile in return. I know you are wise as the bristlecone pine, gentle as a summer breeze up from the sea, and tender as silence. I know you are constant as the steady earth, passionate as a pounding mountain cataract, and sensitive as a mist. I know you are comfortable as a shaded glen, and curious as a child with a book of wonders, reading alone by firelight. I promise I will remember you always as you are in your own dreams. I will love you the way a river loves the sea. I will approach you the way a cloud approaches the infinite horizon. And the good days we share will last forever. Thank you for listening.
This guy. Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
When you get done, I want to find out how many of these people want to.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'll write it down. Looks like we have about 4 or 5 Zoom folks, so I'll get them interspersed in between us somehow. But maybe not until after our feature. Okay. The next person is a bit like me. Only he's like a supporter. When I do ceremony, he supports what I have done in the past. Probably from the same Sundance circles. My cousin Crow Dog is the Sundance leader for that, and sure, sure, he's coming up right now. Everybody, everybody, get a hand for Jack Stewart Smith.
Thank you, Michael. Hello, family.
Hey.
I love you all. This is another bullet. Another bullet, another gun, another bullet, a battle won, another war where lives are lost, another chance to count the cost. Another bullet, we'll load our guns. We've told our foes they'd better run. To stay and fight, it's always been our way. The price of blood is the price we'll pay. It's all the same, just like yesterday. It is the nature of the human race. We deem the other not worthy of grace, annihilated without a trace. Another bullet, another gun, another bullet, a battle won, another war where lives are lost, another chance to count the cost. May I dare ask you, and you please ask me, are we not all one family? We May I dare ask you, and please ask me, are we not all one family? What shall we do now to break this curse? Before we all suffer worse. We have many missiles, just like you do. We may all launch them, and we'll all be through. No more need for bullets, no more need for war. No more need for humans, no, not anymore. So I will reach out my hand. Won't you please join me? We'll make a stand. Not sure if it will make a change at all to keep those stars shining before they all fall. Another bullet, another gun, another bullet. The battle's won, another war. Blood is lost, another chance to count the cost. Another chance to count the cost, to count the cost, to count the cost of another bullet.
Michael, please.
Thank you.
On the end.
All right. Wow. How much? Okay, the next reader I'm not too familiar with, so I'll keep it short. Olivia Mercedes. Oh, I'll get to know you and we'll have a good time.
I
All right.
will, thank
All
you.
right.
Appreciate it. It's only my second time here, so I don't expect you to know me.
Okay.
Thank you for having me back. It's an honor to go after Jack. Thank you for sharing that. My name's Olivia, and the piece I'm sharing with you is called Bulldozing the Dead. I grew up in a heavily wooded area in the Midwest. When our first dog died, it was late spring, and with the ground being unfrozen, my father buried her in our side yard, in the woods behind our basketball hoop. Later that summer, I was 12 years old, and I distinctly remember going into those woods to hurriedly retrieve my basketball before my brother beat me at knockout. And as I pivoted and I saw a strange spot of dirt, I fearfully wondered, did an animal dig up her dead body? Is that actually where she was buried? I can't go look. I'll just ask Dad when he gets home. I returned to the game but didn't say anything to my siblings, wanting to protect them should my fear be reality. And when I later shared my concern with my father, he casually assured me that he buried her body plenty deep enough to ensure that wouldn't happen. It was probably just a mole hole or activity of another scavenger. Don't worry, he told me. And so I stopped worrying. Not because digging up bodies isn't something animals do, but rather I trusted my father enough to dig a hole deep enough to bury her with the exact intention of protecting his children from the very natural but traumatizing experience of discovering the scavenged remains of their dead dog's body. Because while most humans agree that it is not okay to desecrate a grave, wild animals do not know the difference between their next meal and someone's beloved pet. They're animals. They're animals. They're animals. The humans say about the other humans whose graves they bulldozed, whose corpses they kidnapped, whose organs they harvested, and that was after they displaced, tortured, and murdered them. They're animals. The humans say about the other humans who are so devoted to humanness, they carry each other's wounded bodies to the floors of supply-less hospitals where doctors have not stopped working, where orphans care for other orphans as they watch each other die. They're animals. Say the humans about the other humans who have spent their entire lives being oppressed, being bullied, imprisoned, and displaced, but still commonly hold the belief that it's possible to coexist in peace. They're animals. Say the humans about the other humans whom they are demanding now pay a fee for the return of their loved one's body and obey the restrictions on where they can finally lay them to rest after a year of their murderous death. But if they are the animals, then what are you? Because given the facts, it seems more likely that you are the animals, but then again, not even wild animals behave as soullessly as you do. Because not only do you commit these atrocities, you do so pridefully, claiming it's your God-given prophecy as if you are above all, above the animals, the people, the law, yet your actions illustrate the character of the one you call the enemy. The distance you have to dig between being human and being the level of evil you have proven to be is deeper than any grave someone with an actual soul could ever dig. The amount of effort you spend on dehumanizing the ones you ethnically cleanse proves not that they are animals, but rather that you are the one who is not human. Because you are the one digging up graves, not because you mistook them for sustenance, rather because your greed is so gluttonous that it identified them as profitable organs to be harvested, as ransom dues to be collected. Because you have allowed evil to convince you that they are somehow less deserving of life than you. So undeserving of life that you even after you shamelessly took it, you took the body it lived in. What did the dead ever do to you? Besides tragically prove that if anyone in this world is less than human, it must be the ones bulldozing the dead.
Smart
They-
names.
Amazing. Cool.
It's went off with a class, so there's
Uh-huh.
a couple more names. This person and this person, Marie Johnson and
Okay.
Ellen. You want
Okay.
to get those later?
Okay, I'll get that.
Okay, all right.
I just found out that Jim Marino's going to be on Zoom today, so you'll be hearing his voice, his scratchy voice.
I don't know if he's going to be on. It might.
Oh, he might not be. He might not be on, but we'll see. Oh. I don't know Carol Musgrip very well, but I have met her, and so I'll get to know. I can't wait to hear your work. So come on up.
And he'll show you a picture.
Yeah.
Hello, how's my voice? Is that good?
Yes.
Okay, great. If they had passed out stones at the trial of Adolf Eichmann, Jerusalem, 1961. I went to the trial to gawk at the size of the hands of the man who boasted all over Argentina that he had killed millions of Jews with just his signature. Pen dipped into blood of dedication to the law of his land, no matter its purpose. He swore he was no savage, that he swooned at the sight of men with pliers, wrenching gold teeth from fresh corpses packed into blood-brimming ditches along his official route. His figure, in an anonymous dark business suit, not an orange prison outfit, no Star of David branded on his forehead, no shackles, no mob ready to tear him apart. Just a theater with a cast of witnesses dressed in dark clothes. Heart-shaped face, receding hairline, halo of big headphones, black tie. I wanted to gawk at this stand-in Hitler in his own right, the pulse of the Holocaust, Mr. Logistics, who commanded trains to the camps run on time, crammed full of flesh to Auschwitz, Dachau, Bergen-Belsen, hundreds of camps where human names were transformed into indelible blue numbers. Guilty, not a chance of being proven innocent. Already condemned to sit for hours on a simple chair, he looked like the victim, strangely. Anchored there on display in a bulletproof glass box that even the stones of Moses could not break. 3 old judges confronted him with their presence. No doubt even they could not hold their judgment before all the evidence was in. He claimed to have been
What's up?
the ones.
Good boy.
Turn off your.
Just keep going.
Keep on going.
Wallace?
I am from Dreamtime Ceremony. Thank you. Medicine making with Grandma's memory. This story flows as people from the rain, always running to where blue deer graze away, a sunset of possibilities. From an inland shellbed that was once an ocean, western gate, a conquered people rises out of ash as swift arrows. From the smooth earth, the color of cinnamon, where the mountain lions who hear my breath sing my song. Hey, Mike. Okay, one more poet before we have our feature. And this poet, she's like my favorite cat whisperer, Deborah.
The audio, everything's fixed.
Everything's
working.
fixed?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep her on. Thank you, Bobby.
Thanks, Mike. I didn't know I was a cat. I'll do you write poems about cats. Deborah Ramos, and one little announcement. Poets of the Grove will be having their reading January 28th. We went dark for November, December, and we're getting back to it in January. So, and then my grandchild Sage, her little chapbook is going to be ready for that day too. So, little bit of a thing here. Okay. Seasons become. Here, full snow moons circle, where two rivers breathe into one. Here, lungs inhale the budding spring and exhale wet upon a belly soaked in pollen. Here, woven strawberry beds lie open because this is where summer wakes up. Here, autumn-drenched adobe shades a harvest of corn and fruit as painted red rocks heat the cooking basket. Red Moon Daughter. Okay. Red Moon Daughter, keeper of starfire, push the sacred skies wide open, and the great waters rush through every mother's womb. Divine bodies overflowed with the salty fluid of birth. Nebula eyes rained rivers, thirsty roots wrapped around Earth's dewy lips, and the universe blossomed. Winter inside my bones. I release the muscles of winter and welcome spring. I turn my face toward the sun like flowers do and soak it up. I give warmer winds permission to soothe my bones down to the marrow. I ask new light to seep into the cracks and open my heart to more joy, less sorrow. Let it illuminate the dark corners, even deep in those pockets where the sunflower should grow. Thank you.
The diversity here is just overwhelming. Wow. Okay, everyone, we're gonna have our feature today. And what I really like about George is that he has those people here in San Diego. So it's like, I feel so connected to George Wallace. I'll have to read what he's done in New York City. Okay. Yes. George Wallace is a writer in residence at the Walt Whitman birthplace, author of 40 chapbooks, and a fixture at the New York City performance scene. A poet and recording artist, he has played a prominent role in developing poetry projects on a national scope. The Woody Guthrie Poets, National Beat Poet Festival, Poets Building Bridges, and Radio Poet blog. His most recent collection is Resurrection Song, Roadside Press, 2023, and has released 4 albums of alternative music, poetry to streaming services online. George travels internationally to share his work and has received numerous honors and awards from major festivals in the US, Europe, and South America. So everybody give a big welcome to George Wallace.
Wow, a lot of talent in this room. I enjoyed all the open mic people in the beginning. I'll definitely be sticking around for the rest of you, so I get to hear everybody, because as I travel, I find that the experience of sharing is really what it's about. It's not me standing up here and trying to get you excited about me. It's about the communal experience. Chris referred to, maybe somebody else referred to the communal aspect of it. Jack was talking about the love, and it's really true. So, the fact that Jim can't be here because he's sick, and then Mike jumped in and has done a good job with hosting everybody in his inimitable way. Thank you, Mike, for being here. I would like to give a shout out to a couple people here who I have known over the years. Roger Aplon, I know because of his work at Beacon. Chris Benoit, we do a lot of work together with the Beat Poets Festival over various locations. You're going to come down to St. Augustine. Yeah, so we'll be seeing each other in April. St. Augustine. In the back is a dear friend from originally from Pacific up in Oregon, Jonathan Harris. He's come down all the way from the mountains in Idlewild to be with us today. So thank you all for coming today. I'm told 27 minutes, which is not an amount of time, but 27 minutes is what it is. Inventory. This is inventory season. Anybody who's ever worked in retail knows that. This is a personal inventory. I survive. I write. I travel another day, another line, another display, another tire track in the limitless snow. I search. I pray. I respond to the empty, dying wake of a ferry boat. I wait in silence, in the noise of the crowd without reflection. I climb the mountain passes with the mountain goats, and I go to the lonely black places where mountain goats go. I patrol the shallows. I feed where the marsh birds feed. I search for the trail of the lost wandering poet who came through all of these places before me. I survive rain hat in hand, beggar to the rich and their betrayer. I make fists with my hands. I set off fireworks in my brain. I wander. I break bread with strangers. I take stock. I hear the song of the one bird singing, and I'll try it in very poor Spanish now. Pájaro optimista que me persigue, the optimistic bird which persecutes me. And I keep my secrets to myself, and I keep my honor among fellows, and I survive. I write. I keep track of my errors. I present them before my gods. I toss off the terrible blanket of wind that shakes lesser forests than myself, and I wipe myself clean. And I take my walking stick in hand, and I set off again. I sing the old songs. I steady the face of my ideal lover, even in the blue coffin of day, and laugh and eat a little and take on new friends and obligations and recollect the old and examine the scripture of the lousy mattress that no man can possibly find rest upon or dislodge himself from in his dreams. I'm a little jet lagged. I was in Paris 4 days ago. It snowed. I was in New York yesterday, and I was drinking half the night till 3:30 in the morning in Los Angeles. See how the rest of the
So
shows.
look at
For all
that
we
good
know,
life to me.
For all we know, this is paradise.
Yes.
What if apples were still apples? What if snakes were snakes and we're all still living in paradise? What if Eve is in the summer of her years, running with the antelope, thighs supple and alert, her face tan? What if nobody has had to crawl on their belly on account of some fairy tale crime? Adam lies blameless in a grove of ripe pears, admiring Eve, admiring how evening light arrives in Eden on crushed wings to remind him of love's caresses. No temptation, no shame, just a curious bird singing sweet ellipses, singing with the trees, a song with no words about God and summer and sunlight and waterfalls. And that's a simple song about how perfectly a pear fits in Adam's hand. Equally perfect in Eve's hand too, and how generously its juices spill over his chin, over her hands, over his chest, almost as if by design, singing how we are all of us two halves of a single fruit, hanging from a paradise. Woo. Yeah. New York City Hall, listening to jazz on a rainy bebop afternoon. This one I'll do brief for Chris. Because it's the music of the old daddy hipsters like Chris, turning things inside out. Because the brightness and malevolence of the glowing in the heart of a dark, intolerant age releases strength of mind, and so craziness blows joy back into a joyless world, spirit back into the secret bloodstream of material existence. Because strange cats were dodging raindrops and hopping from club to club in broken-hearted streets of Chicago and Kansas City and LA in 50s middle America. Because we should be dodging raindrops too. Because the old daddy hipsters were gone, magic visionary creatures rearranging the furniture in a down-and-out age. Revolutionaries, apparitions, spies. Because this is a down-and-out age too. The sad, pitiful stupidity of the world is with us all in its essentialities and particulars. There's a new sinister efficiency in American society to replace the old. Because to roll with it or to play the game in any nation where the communion of free soul travelers is declared illegal is sheer madness. Because jazz, the bounce, real. And music is eternity. Because solidarity with the old daddy hipsters on a rainy bebop afternoon in New York City or San Diego, for that matter, is exactly what is needed to give strength to the heart and rekindle the beautiful embryonic derangement of the senses in the gone world. All right. Some of you are the age to remember where we had a big heart. Hippies. This poem's called When We Had a Big Heart. When, like a big fire truck blowing through rush hour traffic to rescue the world from itself. When our free souls beginning their journey through the world, not with it, not against it, just through it. When love was a word and hearts were near to bursting on every doorstep and in every puddle and pipe. When in the reflection of possibilities like a belly full of miracles, when pure hearts brooded to overfilling and despite the cold realities grew round and red as radishes. We had enough of all the bullshit that surrounded us all to our two human existences and were ready to change the world. When shimmering over the city like FM radio, a new kind of music sucked all the bad air out of our miserable, deranged animal brains and replaced it with collective joy. And ignorance and prejudice were defrocked and sent off to the ash pits of history to contemplate their many crimes. And the world put on a new suit of clothes, and surprised itself in the air with how good it looked. And went out into society and overcame its own imperfect nature and smiled, and life was on fire again, something you could almost taste. In the genuine equine motion of our bodies approaching each other openly on a dance floor. You could smell the smoldering ecstasy. You could just feel it. Nobody was going to bring anybody down. No, not this time. And the music sparked, and the streets were for us like the trajectory of stars, and love sweetened our tongues for each other. Like spiced rum, and you extended your hand to mine, and I took it and offered mine the same, and the day-glow laughter of every woman and man sang a panegyric to every other man, woman, and child, and we were momentarily not free. No perp walk, no small-brained politicians to mess us up. No betrayal, no anger, no hate and manufactured war to shame us free. Until our lungs burst to hurt to bursting with so many kindnesses, like too much cotton candy at the fair. And we hung around on the edge of a cliff on a western shore where we are right now and waited for the sun to go down. And we were magnified. We were magnified. And never made to feel small when we had a heart. When we had a big heart.
All right.
Heck of the times.
Oh,
Yeah, good.
about 10 more minutes.
I am sorry, Diane Dupree.
Oh,
I know it's New York
yeah.
San Francisco. Revolutionary Letters, one of the principal women beats. Died not too long. I'm sorry, Diane Dupree. There was no revolution. We cleaned things up just about enough. Carry on. We forgot your necessary guns and Buddha. The revolutionary, the body and the heart was no match for clean sheets, prosperity. We brought down the man. We filled the lakes back up with rainbow trout. We unpolluted the sky. We closed some factories. We gentrified the Lower East Side. We filled our gas tanks and our bank accounts and ran off to Cancun. Into the mouths of our children, we poured laughter, fireworks, poetry, college degrees. We forgot about filling our bathtubs up with your grandpa's Marxism, coal. The life-preserving waters of Stocko and Vanzetti went down the drain, escaped us. We put aside your revolutionary letters. We let our cup runneth over with patriotism and football and craft beer. Yeah. We let the old singers back. Successful and I mean, fuck off with. Until a few became the many again, and now it's fuck off for everybody except the fat cats and their plastic wives, golf carts, country clubs, private towers. All the cleanup we done is about to get undone. Reach for the sky, the privileged few are on high, protected by their trolls and goons, and the rest of us hanging around the streets to fool and to fuel. And it's 10 p.m. and street drunks crossing Church Street, pulling on a young girl's hijab and shouting, Trump, 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 and the blood in the eyes of the people and the anger in their mouths is for each other, not for the oppressors. Just the way they like it.
All right.
To each other. And there is the precious seed of your revolution now Diane. Really? Answer the board back to that. I see Ellen Maybe's name from Los Angeles.
Yeah, Ellen.
I want to give a shout out to her too. She gave me a blurb on my most recent books. I appreciate that friendship. Riding with Boom Boom. That's a pretty true story. One of these things out of a newspaper. Facts are simple. They speak for themselves. But facts don't always tell the whole story. Boom Boom was a blues player. He played blues. 60 years old. He lived alone in a split-level house in Kings Park, Long Island, New York, with a ramp in the front on account of a bad back, and a maple tree in the yard, which he used to swing on when there was little, when the kids were little, before they moved away.
Oh.
He liked his chocolate. He liked his Jack Daniels. He liked his bass guitar, and he liked his kids, and he liked his friends, and he liked a woman or two, and he liked putting on the riding gear and going out on the Long Island Expressway to ride, baby, ride. And the cops say they didn't target. Cops say they didn't drag him down, track him down. Cops say they were just protecting the public when they came to his house to haul him in because somebody called and complained. They said somebody phoned and complained. They said, told him he was behaving irrational. Irrational. Irrational to be the person they don't want you to be. Irrational to refuse to swallow a 9 to 5. Irrational to fight the leather ballot they struck you down with when the psych doctors come around to pick you apart. Irrational to cut loose, to escape, to be passionate, to ride out free when the blues and the booze and the passing lane just aren't enough. And you've got to get away from the pain of living in this messed up, rational world. Facts are simple. They speak for themselves. Facts never do enough. They never do enough. They just do their job. Like cops do their job. Like doctors do their job. Like liquor does its job. Like motorcycles and the blues do their job. Boom Boom was 60 years old. He played bass guitar. Everybody said he was tons of fun on stage, but sometimes the bass guitar isn't enough to make the blues go away. Cops took him in. There was a struggle, so they say. He hit his head on something, so they say. What he hit his head on, the cops never said. Or how a 60-year-old with a bad back they put up that kind of a fight. There's a bunch of cops. Actually, his name was Ports, Larry Ports. It's a good name. It's a simple name. It speaks for itself, but names are just facts. All they do is their job. Names aren't enough to cure what ails you in a messed up, rational world. That's why his friends call him Boom Boom. Because that's how he rode. That's how he really was. Someone named Lawrence Port died. That's the long and short. Well, that ain't Boom Boom. Boom Boom ain't dead. The cops cannot kill Boom Boom. All over America tonight, all over the world, men will be riding motorcycles, women will be getting tattoos, kids will be drinking Jack Daniels, and bluesmen will be playing the blues. And I do not know where we will be tonight, or you will be tonight, or what you'll be doing. But as for me, I'll be riding with Boom Boom, getting irrational.
Yeah. About 10 more minutes or so. Okay.
The interest of sharing, I'll read some passage from Woody Guthrie's autobiography. And this is a passage where he's traveling up in Seattle. with Cisco, who's kind of like busking, and what became known as this first Skid Row. Skid Row comes from the skids that were Seattle, I think it is. And he writes about that experience of busking along that area, where the common people who only got a nickel to their name go to have a little bit of fun. This is just a passage where he talks about that experience. And you can tell that Bob Prosser is in this, the same that you hear in Jack Kerouac and other people, which Woody Guthrie preceded that Woody writing. Cisco and me sung for our chips. We moved along the skid, looking at the bars and taverns, listening to neon signs sputter and crackle, and on the lookout for a gang of live ones. The old splotchy plate glass windows looking too dirty for the hard rain ever to wash clean. All doors and dumps and cubby holes had a sickly pale color about them, and men and women, bosses and work hands humping around inside and talking about back and forth to each other. Some soggy smelling something, some newsstands trying to keep their fronts open and sell horse race tips and sheets to the people ducking head down in the rain, in the rain, in the rain, in the rain. And the pool hall stunk to high heaven with tobacco smoke, spit, and piles of dirty men yelling over their beds. Hot shop windows all piled up and hanging full of every article known to man, and hooked there by the men that needed them the most. There was tools, there was shovels, there was carpenter kits, there was paint sets, compasses, brass faucets, plumber tools, saws, axes, big watches that hadn't run since the last war, and canvas tents and bedrolls taken from the fruit tramps, and the coffee joints, slipping stewed dives, cash counters, local fronts, lined with men swallowing, chewing, and hoping that the rain would wash something down. Wine would wash something down from the heights like a job, down to Skid Row. Something along the skid, a job. And the garbage along the street, stones curling shale and slush that washes down the hill from the nicest part of town, the straw, the manure, stuff comes down from the high places like Cisco, Kid, and me. We came down from the high places. We came down like several thousand rounders to land and to clog, to get caught along the Skid Row. This is where the working people come to squeeze a little fun and rest out of a buffalo nickel. There's 3 or 4 blocks of old wobbly flop houses and buildings, and I know them. When I sit here on the skid, I know these people. The hats pulled down over their faces, and you know me. They know me. They call me Guitar Busker, Joint Hopper, Tip Canary, Kitty Box Man. And I know them, horse wranglers, dead enders, stew bums, stealers, dealers, sidewalk stealers, convicts, skyflies, flatfoots, reefer riders, dopers, smokers, boilers, smokers, coppers, spiders, three-way riders, honest people, fake people, vamps and saviors, saved, whose house whorehouse hunters, doorbell ringers, footloosers, honky-tonkers, cornhuskers, guitar buskers, nice people, bastards, sons of bitches, fair, square, honest folks, and low, sneaking, greedy people, and somewhere in amongst all of those Skid Row skidders, Cisco and me sung for our chips. And I'll conclude with this attention. Anybody seen Napoleon Dynamite? Dynamite, Grandma, going it's like June buggy. This is kind of taking power a little bit. And the title of the poem is Off-Road Four-Wheel Busted Up Collarbone Low Bar, Miss America. She loved to tip June buggy. She loved to ride. She loved to be outside to spit and cry, to hop like a toad, to burn like a barn, and shoot like Novocaine. She spit in the bushes. She spit on a mountaintop. She spit on the prairie, on the bayou, in the mouth hole of a universal universe. She loved the Shenandoah, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Tuscaloosa. She loved Hot Wheel, all-weather, Citroen, Space Jam blues. top down, hood up, piston busting woman of the blue sky, and rockin' pinion tie tack, shoe shine, shotgun, home on the range, not the kind you cook on. And oh, she loved her own thick hair like nobody's business, like nobody's business. She pulled it back, she let it go wild, she tossed it back like a steel drum hand, like a backdoor Catholic, prophylactic Mormon figure eight pagan little Miss America, crazy, drunk, or spying on her own sweet self. Oh no, no. It's 4th of July, drunk by the campfire girl. The embers do not go out on you. The embers do not go out on you. No, not on you. Not the lights of Broadway. Not the pool hall lights, not the jailhouse lights, not the junkyard lights, not the headlights of the supermarket lights all night long in the supermarket parking lot. And oh, her mulish temper. And oh, her talking back. You know, racked up men with metallic skin, skinny men, fat man, muscle-headed men, gold-bond men. No one could stop her. No one could stop her. No grease gun Jake, no big bag Joe. No coke dust, dipstick, tin shield, sawdust, sheriff. He loved herself. Body, her mule, her muscles, her calves, her skin, her ankle, thigh, hip high, tie heel, boots. She shuddered and waved like prairie grass. She so certainly did want to be. She loved to be outside herself. She loved, and she needed to be loved, and she shoved it around and she shook it out. She got took, she got lost, she got rediscovered, she got wasted, she got found, ripped open, given away, put up on a pedestal, took for a ride, stolen in the night. She yanked it all out. Every ounce of it, the flesh, the earth, the river, the rain, the red rock forest of oak. She plummeted like eagles. She grew like silver corn. She spooned up asphalt and plowed it back under and tucked it away and bombed and bombed and bombed. Unfairly, unwisely, arrogantly, which is normal and faulty, I guess, and human too, and acted foolish when she wanted to and wise when you didn't expect it. Off-road, four-wheel, bust-up collarbone, roll bar, Miss America, tossed her helmet 50 feet up in the air. A big Yahoo Popeye six-pack of a beanbag woman, headphones blaring, dung busting shit crazy, headed off to anywhere, doomed as a devil dog. Little Miss America leaped out of the darkness and into the sun. Like you said, there you go.
Yeah. Got my energy back. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do Zoom, folks, and the rest of us intermittently for the next, I don't know, probably an hour. There's a lot of people. Okay, for the next step, I really enjoy Alistair's when he sings work, and I just can't say enough about this beautiful man. Here, Alistair McLeod.
I'm gonna have to add a little here. A lot of you have been screaming with outrage and pain about what we're in the middle of.
Yeah.
And I jokingly, not very jokingly, said to a friend, here we go into the dark night of 2024. It could be a dark night. But I'm not here to read to you or sing to you or speak to you about any of that. You've all done an excellent job. I don't need to do any more. I'm just going to tell you a couple of things, and I'm going to have you help me decide, because you've all been so very kind about my singing. So I've got to decide whether I'm going to sing first and read a poem that is absolutely essential, quite short, absolutely essential for me to read, or read poem and then sing. So sing first. Sing first?
Sing first, yeah.
Okay, so one little comment. Tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day, right? Did you know?
Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. Did you know that Dr. King wrote
The Reverend
letter?
Dr. Martin.
Reverend. Okay, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Believe me, it's not that I lack any respect. Did you know that the letter from Birmingham jail, which is considered quite rightly one of the great statements of the necessity of fighting for civil rights, was written on pieces of toilet paper? They would not give him pen and ink. I didn't know that until yesterday. Now I'm going to sing a song that you will all know, but there's something about it you won't know. This song is attributed to the great American team of Rodgers and Hart. They didn't write it. It was written by a 17-year-old son of Polish immigrants. Took me a while to find that out. I like to get due where credit is due. Coming up. I'll have to tell you later because I don't have it on my phone right in front of me. 17-year-old kid. Blue, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then suddenly there appeared before me the only one my arms will ever hold. I heard someone whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Blue moon, now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, I'm no longer alone. I have a dream in my heart. I have a love of my own. Here's what I'm really for here too. And we're so glad we got a big turnout. It's just so wonderful. As Jack always gets up and says, this is family. And it is, my God. And I'm grateful for it. This poem is titled The Truth. And I hope that you'll understand why. I am a tree that did not flower. I am a seed that did not grow. But that is not the end of the story. It's only the beginning. Something new is being born within. It's not yet used to me. Surprised to find itself the child of this unlikely parent. Doesn't quite yet know how to make me speak. But it will have its way. It will have its say. For it is a better, happier thing than I, and deserves to live for a long, long time after I have gone away. The universe is in its place, and we are one with her. Can you hear the angels sing? I have only to open my glad ears and listen. The glory is manifest.
Wow.
Hey. Wow. Thank you so much. Okay, now we're going to start intermixing Zoom and us together. So I'm gonna see if Julio is ready.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, here we go with Julio Cesar Aguilar.
I am going to read two short poems in English and then in Spanish. El sol. Bajo los rescoldos, despaciosamente se apagó la tarde. Pétalos de brillo.
It's not just. So-
Making it help.
Okay.
That's right. Oh, there we are.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm going to start. El sol. Bajo los rescoldos, despaciosamente se apagó la tarde. Pétalos de brillo de la flor de fuego, desde el mediodía ya se derramaban, aún deshojándose, mas entera siempre, solo su presencia invadía toda la humedad del aire. Muy firme en la altura, las primeras horas anfitrionas.
Las primeras horas anfitrionas.
Hang on a second. Julio, hang on.
Stop.
Julio,
Just stop. One second. One second.
I don't know if it's the mic. I don't know. I don't know. It's back. Let me close this. This meeting back so I can close.